Hi everyone, my name's Atreyi, and today I'm here to talk to you about climate optimism. Before we do that, let's get on the same page about climate change. Like I'm sure many of you can relate, I first learned about climate change in my elementary school classroom. My 5th grade teacher went up to the board and told us, climate change refers to long-term shifts in temperature and weather patterns. She then went on to detail all the terrible consequences that could arise as a result, from loss of biodiversity, sea level rise, global warming, and so much more. All of that information was pretty heavy to hear at 9 years old, and honestly, it felt pretty scary, and I think to a lot of us today, it still feels that way. But then, as I was packing my stuff to go for recess, I remembered I was just a kid. I didn't need to worry about it, because surely the adults had it under control, right? Well, as it turns out, the adults did not in fact have it all under control. That realization pushed me to climate activism in high school, where I talked to lawmakers, pushed for legislation, and mobilized people to vote. In doing that work, I realized that one of the biggest barriers to climate action wasn't just the lack of political will or financial constraints, but a deeply rooted sense of pessimism that gripped much of society, especially young people. That's when I discovered climate optimism. Climate optimism is the idea that as we make progress to reduce and slow the effects of climate change, we have to take moments to appreciate the good work that's being done. That mindset reframing completely changed the way I went about organizing. Instead of only using fear or distress to compel people into action, I talked about the possibilities that lay ahead of us, the opportunities we had to transform our world, not just for the sake of our climate, but for the sake of our society. And in doing that, I saw people go from being hopeless and resigned to being excited about finding solutions. Now, I want to be clear. All of the things that my 5th grade teacher told us were very real possibilities then and still are today. And in some ways, we see them playing out already, from the recent wildfires in LA to the record-breaking temperatures that seem to be happening more and more frequently. It's natural that despair is so common, but I want you to walk away from this presentation knowing that we have to have the courage to believe, to hope, and trust in our ability to create a better world if we have any hope of defeating the climate crisis. Now, I want to be clear. Optimism is not a cop-out. It is not complacency, nor is it unfounded hope. Rather, it's taking a long-term view of human society. Over the past 2 centuries, sectors from healthcare to education to technology have all seen unprecedented growth. Until the last century, half of all children died before puberty. To think that our world is hopelessly dismal today is to ignore the misery of the human past. But all of that growth required hopeful and deliberate action, which is exactly what this moment requires. And scientifically, optimists are more likely to seek solutions, which could also be pretty helpful in this moment, if you ask me. The reason I wanted to talk to you all about climate optimism today is because I believe that climate doomers can sometimes be just as dangerous as climate deniers. You might be thinking, wow, she's crazy, but I want you to sit for a minute and think about it. If we don't have any hope that our actions will succeed, what will motivate us to change our behavior or to innovate? Many of you in the audience today are Barnard students, and we all know this is not an easy school to get into. But when you press submit on your application, no matter how long ago that was, you had to have some small glimmer of hope that you would get in. And here you are today. My point being is that doomerism results in paralysis, optimism results in change. And even as we can all agree that climate policy is not where it should be today, we do see that change happening already. For instance, it's true that global carbon emissions from the energy and industrial sectors may peak as early as this year. Wind, solar, and battery are now becoming so cheap that they're outcompeting fossil fuels all on their own. And even as we are approaching the 1.5 degrees benchmark, the outlook is still far brighter than the 4.2 degrees of warming first predicted when the Paris Agreement was signed 10 years ago. So what's next? What can we do right now to make the future we want a reality? It all starts with belief. Believing that our future can be different and that we have the power to change it. We have to reject the notion that it's too late. Human society has faced immense challenges before, from world wars, economic crises, to pandemics, and every single time we have risen to meet them. This moment is no different, because we have the tools, the willingness, and the capability to act. Remember, optimism isn't about ignoring the facts. It's about having the courage to act even when the road ahead looks tough. Before we do that, though, we have to acknowledge the grief. A lot has been lost, and a lot more might be. It's natural to feel fear, sadness, and even anger. But it's equally important to remember that grief is not a stopping point. So sit with it for a moment, but then use it to channel you into action. This next part's gonna sound a little weird, but I'm gonna need you to bear with me. I need you to find joy. A lot of people think that doing this work, fighting for a future, means surrounding yourself with endless stress, despair, and burnout. I'm here to tell you it's exactly the opposite. Joy is essential to sustaining long-term action. Again, it's not about ignoring the seriousness of the situation, it's about finding moments of wonder and gratitude in the midst of it all to keep us going when things are tough. And then there's community. You cannot and should not do this alone. The future is collective. If you're feeling overwhelmed by the scale of the crisis, seek support with your friends and families, or use Barnard's on-campus resources. If you want to stay informed on the good and the bad, go to events at Columbia's Climate School and Earth Institute, or listen to podcasts like Atreyi and Optimism. And finally, the thing that helps me feel the best is taking a small piece of action myself. You can do this through countless volunteering organizations in Manhattan and New York, or through on-campus organizations like Columbia EcoReps. Look around at this room. You are not alone. So let's end with this. The future is not written yet. We get to write it. We have to work for it, and yes, it will be challenging at times. When we act with others, when we act with belief, and we act with joy, that's when the real magic happens. The change we need is already within us. It always has been. Let's go out there and make it happen. Thank you.